Y'all, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. It is Taylor Bridges with another review of Ready to Love Season 7, Episode 7, titled, Do You Like Me? If you would be so kind to like, comment, and subscribe, I would so appreciate it. Let's get right into the episode. A lot happened. We're back with the whole gang in one setting. You got Jeffrey, Suanne, and Blake still going at it. Again, not gonna lie, Jeffrey is a tad bit too bothered about this situation. That's just how I feel about it, point blank, period. That's it. Monique says she likes this whole thing is going on since Blake is telling Suanne lies. And I'm like, you're one to talk. Like, your love connections are homeless ass Lyndon and phony ass Tony. So Zip, worry about your connections, Morgan. Like, and she, like, you all hype about the power, the back and forth. After the whole back and forth powwow, Tommy, of course, doesn't add anything constructive to what is taking place, of course. But he tells him it's time to eat, and that matters. Blake says Suanne showed poise during the conflict and it made them grow closer. And I feel a not so good feeling when guys do this. Conflict over you with another chick does not build us. I don't know. Perhaps conflict between us could help us break barriers and grow more fun, but growing closer because of conflict with a third party gives me like the ride or die vibes, and that's ghetto. Like, why haven't y'all grown closer on y'all's own accord? You know what I mean? The ladies are fond of Andre. I'm so glad he's back though. He had great energy. We know how we feel about the hair, that's just that, but we're glad that he's back. I've grown, like, I'm trying to put, it's like a blind spot there from here on up. But Jeffrey is talking with Andre. That's her top connection. Like, okay, Jeffrey. Talking about she hopes he thought she handled that disagreement with Suanne and Blake with grace. You didn't. You were bothered. He doesn't say yes or no, but he's more appreciative that I think that he has multiple connections and she's just one of them to help him stay in the game. I think that's what he's grateful for at this point. Morgan is with Anthony and says she feels like he wants to be pursued and queens don't chase. And if he hasn't taken initiative to come and talk to you, maybe he doesn't like you, Morgan. Have you thought about that? Jonique and her clothes are horrific. She is a beautiful woman. And I'll keep saying that. But I said what I said. Andre is upset Mercedes didn't reach out to him. Literally, I typed, he was out of sight, out of mind. And then she said it. Like, dude, it's really that simple. You were out of sight, out of mind. Move on. It's not that deep. Like, you're hurt to the core. Like, Andre, bye. But he gets up and walks away. I'm like, you know what? I ain't mad at Mercedes. I would be like, good. If this is what ends it, and you don't want nothing to do with me, that's just easier on me, dude. Like, you taking it way too serious. I really don't think it was that deep. Like, we're like maybe 3 to 4 weeks in at this point. Like, calm down. Pardon me. But here we go with this runaround with Tony and Morgan. Morgan is so immature. She's chastising Tony yet again about how he socializes with other women. You are the oldest woman on the show. And I know you're pushing Tony away because you're pushing my behind away. Like, you are so annoying. Like, how about you talk to Tony about you? But it makes sense because Morgan likes drama. Remember, she was happy for all the drama to go down between Jeffree, Suann, and Blake. And she thinks it's cute or helpful to her cause to bring up Tony and other women every time she has his attention that she's been begging and pleading for. She begs and pleads for this attention, then she gets it, and she wastes it on talking about his connection with other women. She likes to keep up the mess. She likes this drama back and forth thing. That's why she's doing this. She likes that at her big age. And then you wonder why Anthony and Tony aren't aggressive with you when clearly other women have gotten different results from these very guys. It's like perhaps you're annoying and you're immature with all this crybaby, give me this, give me that, give me the attention. Why are you talking to other women? Like the oldest woman on this show, you on your young girl-ish. And maybe the guys are just seeing what's clearly in front of them when they look at you. Tony is not your boyfriend. But I'm glad you find your behavior cute and funny. All you and Tony have is a physical connection at the most thus far. Tommy is deliberating with the women, then with the men. Andre is clearly favored. I'm not mad at it. Andre hasn't shown much. Don't get me wrong. He ain't really talked about much. He's barely been on the show. The most we've seen him do is crack a couple jokes at Cynthia when they were as a group with the guys meeting Cynthia and Janique. And then he was supportive to Cynthia when she was being vulnerable at their paint and sip date. We haven't seen him since. So clearly he's keeping up these connections outside of the show because he was highly favored amongst the women like crazily. So, okay. I'm excited now that he's back to see this side that these other ladies are experiencing from him. So, Jeffree and Mercedes are favored amongst the men. Blake says Suann works for him. Meaning, I think he means like she puts in all this effort for him. And to me, that's a little cringe. Like, yes, women can pursue men. Like, but you want it to at least be mutual. Like, I don't even see Blake pursuing Suann at all. Like, in my opinion, he's had one-on-one with all these other random women, Cynthia, Janique, Z, like all these random women he's had dates with, but he's like one-on-ones with. That's interesting. Like, I think Suann needs to fall back and gauge how much Blake even likes her. Morgan says Tony is wild about her and he's made it very clear. But has he? Like, has he made it clear? Somebody lying. Because you were just complaining about how he doesn't give you enough attention and is giving all that attention to other women. And then Tony is like super corny. Like, it's not even funny. I'm thinking Blake and Suann or Janique should go home. Anthony and Mark Anthony are in the bottom. The ladies must have left Blake alone because they felt sorry for Suann. Between Anthony and Mark Anthony, I don't know who would go because some women like them a lot and some women don't think they're ready to be here. But they ended up saving the guys. And I'm like, see, this lifeline usage is corny. Like, why not save it for when there's like a genuine tie between who the ladies or the, you know, like of the men left, or for the, you know, like, why would they use it then? Anthony and Mark Anthony were tied, but Blake wasn't. Like, it was no confusion. Like, Blake was so not wanted by anybody else but Suann. But at least Anthony and Mark Anthony, they both, like, they had still connections in the process. Like, they were pretty even in that. So why not just send Blake home already? Like, they make no sense. And I actually like Blake, but like, it's only Suann. And Suann and Blake don't even really have a connection. Like, why keep him in the game just and then use a lifeline on Blake and Anthony who had actual connections. That was really odd to me. I don't know what that was about. That was super not intelligent to me. I think Janique should just go of the women, and that's actually who Tommy sends home. I take notes like live while I'm watching, so I'll like pause it and be like, Janique and Suanne should go home, and then like I'll press play, and then they'll be like, oh, Janique goes home. So if I end up saying something like as a prediction and then I end up saying that it actually happened, it's because my notes say that, and that's what I was actually writing as the show was playing. I think Janique's a good girl. She needs a new wardrobe. Now we have to sit through this merry-go-round of Blake and Suanne, knowing that we know no one else wants them. They don't talk about anything, and Blake doesn't even want Suanne for real. It's just fluff. I don't like fluff on these shows. Get it out. Like I like the drama. I like the entertainment, but I like it genuine. You know what I mean? It's already bad enough none of the people on the show are actually ready to love. Like that's at least, come on. At least let us see the people that just like each other. That just makes it way more fun and interesting. Blake and Suanne, like they are done. What are we doing? Like, come on, make it juicy, make it good. Like, I don't like the fluff. I don't like that. From the mixer, the powwow, you know, where all the gang was together, was Jeffrey coming from or going to Bible study and or work? Like, she was casket ready in the face. Her hair was pinned up like a deaconess, but it was super cute. Her hair was super cute. And she had this long dress with a kitten heel. It was cute for both work and church, so it would make sense. But dressing like that, coming to a dating mixer as a 32-year-old is a little matronly and loud. Marcia looked loud too, though, but I'll leave her alone for now. Like, what, Jeffrey? Suanne is over Anthony's home for their one-on-one date. And you know, I was like, has Blake even taken Morgan on a one-on-one date yet? Has Blake taken Morgan on a one-on-one date yet? And then I was thinking, are we ever going to see Blake on a solo date with anyone else at this point? Just curious if they're going to force that on us. Because it wouldn't make sense, right? Because we know no one else connects with Blake. We don't need to see it. So I'm like, what else is Blake going to do? He's going to have to twiddle his thumbs until Suanne is available. Because there's no one else for him on this show. Anthony had Suanne tossing the salad, and I'm like, okay, I guess it's okay, but I would have preferred he served her the salad and the entree and the wine, all that. I'm like, okay, maybe she could have opened the bottle of wine and poured it, but just because it's like, it's y'all's first solo date, you know, she's dressed up, she has this like long weave, that should not be over the food. She should be able to sit down. You know what I mean? And, you know, just not for a first date at your house when she's all dressed up. Like, she should be catered to. It's your house. You know where everything is. She should be relaxing and made to feel real cozy and warm. And vice versa when you go to her place. And, of course, once y'all are more, like, comfortable with each other and y'all are used to being in each other's space, then, you know, it makes sense to occupy the kitchen together and help out. You plate the food while I go set up our drinks and our silverware and get the movie set up on Netflix. You know, like we do a little teamwork to kind of forth the night. Because that's when you're comfortable, when you know your way around. Like, you know what his cups are. You already know what kind of juice in there. You know what the liquor and the wine is. You already know the remote. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? When you're a little more comfortable. Like, first date, she should be sitting up cozy. And just serve her. Like, I'm not tossing the salad. All she did was literally pick up cups and just toss it. Like, I could have, what am I getting up for? Like, she could have sat down. Like, he literally did nothing. It was just like giving her a chore. And I felt a way about that. She had like, you know, her long tresses. She has her like crop looking good. Giving you know, Miami vibes, like with her fit. Like, she should be able to sit down, pour, like at the very most, opening the bottle of wine. And you should have like at least an electric opener so she can just like cute pour while you putting that's at the most. It's first date, y'all. Come on. Like, no. So Ben, I'm waiting for them to speak on maybe their upbringings, what they're looking for, what it's like having kids for Anthony, or do you want kids, Suanne, or something. Anthony spoke just fine with Cynthia. They were being very vulnerable. They were being very open and communicative. So, I mean, he has the vocabulary. Perhaps he doesn't like you, Suanne. That's what I'm thinking. He opts to put, and first of all, she clocks it too, that he doesn't seize the opportunity to discuss anything with her, get to know her more, or anything of the sort. He opts to put some music on for them to dance. And that was enough for her to put him back in her top. I said the bar's in hell. You literally said he didn't make that opportunity. Like, you was throwing the bait. He was not reeling it in, not cashing it at all. It's like maybe he the one who threw the bait and you the one not catching it, Suanne. Marc Anthony is on a solo date with Jeffree. If Marc Anthony is turned off by Jeffree having 3 kids, he sure is hiding it very well, because he is continuing to apply pressure on this woman. Jeffree confides that she has Crohn's disease, and I'm like, whoa, like, what a thing to open up about. That was very brave of you, Jeffree. Like, I definitely wish her wellness and all the good bodily feels. And Marc Anthony seemed pretty sincere and genuine and supportive. So I'm glad that she shared that with him specifically. And then they share a kiss, and I'm like, this is a kiss. This is the first real kiss I've seen all season. Like, that was a kiss. It wasn't awkward. It wasn't any hesitation. It was after a genuine moment. It wasn't just like out of nowhere. It just went with the moment. I don't know about them long term, but I can't hate on what I've seen so far. They get along, they communicate, they go on their solo dates, they profess mutual interest in one another. They've shared, a very nice, vulnerable moment. They have the core ingredients to having a strong connection. So I can't hate on that. So Marc Anthony and Mercedes are now on a solo date. They're connecting over the flights, pilots, planes, and stuff. While Marc Anthony is a pilot, Mercedes is a flight attendant aspiring to get her pilot's license. So I thought they had a strong connection, but all they did during this day was giggle and do all this sexual talk. And I thought they were maybe at the point where they could dig deeper by now. Especially since we don't see Mercedes with anyone else. I know she mentioned she has a connection with Anthony, but we haven't seen it yet. And so but she's been very vocal. It's just Anthony and Marc Anthony. So if we see like 1 or 2 of your connections, and that's who we see you with, and it's like this time has passed, like enough for you to profess like, no, it's them two. That's where I'm at with it. And then you said that you don't even know that you're ready for what Anthony wants anyway, which like kind of puts Marc Anthony at more of an advantage. I would think they were further along in their relationship, where they would have something to talk about. They do share a kiss. I know they have physical chemistry, but we'll have to see if there's something more. I don't get long-term relationship vibes from them together, but I do wish I did, because I technically like them together. Morgan and Tony are on a date, and I wrote in my notes, $10 to every viewer of this video if Morgan does not mention any other women. Morgan wants so badly to be threatened, for Tony to be threatened by Lyndon. Nobody is worried about Lyndon's homeless behind. She wants Tony to cut off every other woman on the show. And that's what she means when she says stuff like, clean it up, get it together. Sis, you don't even command his attention like that to be demanding to be the only one. Morgan asks Tony, how do you feel about me? He says, we look good together. Bingo. I called it. I literally said that. When they were by the water, that first time he reached over and gave her that weirdo kiss, I said it then. And if that wasn't the last episode, I'm pretty sure I've said it a couple times at this point. I called it. Y'all have physical attraction. That's it. Y'all have had umpteen solo dates and all this private time together, and y'all still can't hold a normal adult conversation. Just getting to know each other. Y'all are still doing this cat and mouse, this coy, this slick talk. You know, Tony with this riddle talk, and Morgan with this vague, clean it up, childishness, get it together mess. Y'all are both too old. Tony is lying, saying it's hard to choose between Morgan and Marcia. When have you shown any affection towards Marcia? What am I missing? When has Tony shown any real affection to Marcia? Like, really? At this point. Blake wants one-on-one time with Morgan to clarify their encounter. And these are the kind of dates he's going to have outside of Sue-Ann, because he has no other connections. He's going to have to have friendship dates. He apologizes for how he made Morgan feel, but admits to not knowing what he said that affected her. I thought that was fair. She wanted to play semantics. I didn't say you hurt me, you weren't kind. How could you apologize if you don't know what you did? And he was like, he said he apologized for how he made you feel, since clearly you were feeling negative feelings about it because you kept bringing it up. And this happened like this is the first day they met. Like, you haven't let it go since. So you feel a way about it. And then after saying, yo, I apologize for making you feel like, we've been there. Like, I did not, oh my gosh. Like, I didn't even realize, intend anything. I'm sorry for making you feel that way. Can you please reiterate? I mean that apology. Because clearly you feel a way about it. Like, I mean that I'm sorry. Also, can you please reiterate exactly what I said to hurt your feelings, just so I can know? But Morgan's top was super cute. I really like that top. She reiterates that their conversation about wanting kids, and they had a conversation about her wanting kids, and his response was harsh, I guess. Pardon me. I watched her explain herself twice over, but I don't have any thoughts on it. I want to say, I mean, this conversation was pointless to begin with, and yes, Blake has his own issues to work out. And I did say in the first episode's review that both Blake and Jeffrey had hella kids with hella child's parents, and it was alarming. So Morgan is right about him needing to get help or whatever, but Morgan, so do you. You're almost 40 years old, conducting yourself emotionally like a 22-year-old. You whine about other women to the men you expect to like you and choose you. You clearly aren't confident in yourself. You're getting outrated in the market because you're childish. You haven't offered much more than physicality, but you're concerned with being a mother. Then you bring up Jeffrey to Blake. Like, that really frustrated me. That had nothing to do with you. Clown behavior. I'm glad Blake kept his cool with Morgan, though. Like, she's a nobody. Her opinion means nothing to him, as he said. And she for sure had an agenda. She once again showed how childish and dramatic she is. She's just pathetic and sad. Like, she thought she ate. And that's what's sad. Next week, the ladies are going to introduce their exes to their connections. It looks like it's going to be entertaining. I'm excited. Jeffrey's going to even have a little bit of drama. So I have my thoughts. I'm sure we all do. So we're going to see. But I'm excited for it. Thank you so much for tuning in to my review of Ready to Love. And I'll catch y'all at next week's episode. Bye.